Hello, thinkers. Right at this moment, you believe you're understanding me. But what if I told you that this understanding is just a collective illusion we've all agreed to pretend is real? Every word you've ever spoken, every thought you've had, every argument you've won or lost, all of it rests on a foundation that one man proved doesn't exist. And this man, he was a billionaire, had everything, and gave up every single penny because of what he discovered. Now you might be thinking, this is just abstract philosophy, it doesn't change anything in my life. But wait, this is exactly why you can't communicate with your parents, why political debates never go anywhere, why you feel deeply misunderstood even when you use the right words. Language doesn't reveal truth, it creates the prison we mistake for reality. And right now, at this moment, while algorithms rewrite meanings, while words are transformed into political weapons, understanding this isn't intellectual luxury, it's survival. Because if you don't understand how language controls you, someone is using it against you. So the question is, are you ready to see the linguistic matrix that governs your every thought? Because there's no going back after this. Picture this: Vienna, 1889. You're born into one of the wealthiest families in Europe. Not just rich, obscenely, impossibly wealthy. Your father is a steel magnate who controls entire industries. Brahms plays piano in your living room. Mahler visits for dinner. You have more money than you could spend in 10 lifetimes. The world isn't just at your feet, it's begging to be yours. This was Ludwig Wittgenstein's reality. But here's what nobody tells you about paradise. Sometimes it's a cage, and sometimes the bars are made of gold. While his brothers chose suicide, 3 of them, one after another, Ludwig chose something stranger, something more dangerous. He chose to understand why nothing made sense. He abandoned engineering, left the comfort of Vienna, and went to Cambridge to study with Bertrand Russell. And Russell, one of the greatest minds of the 20th century, said something shocking. My German engineer, I think, is a genius. But genius wasn't enough for Wittgenstein. When World War I erupted, he didn't hide behind his wealth. He volunteered for the Austro-Hungarian army. And then, get this, he demanded to be sent to the front lines. The most dangerous positions? Why? Because he needed to see if his ideas could survive in hell. In the trenches, while shells exploded around him, while men died screaming, he carried one book, Tolstoy's Gospel in Brief, and he wrote. He wrote what he believed would end philosophy forever, the Tractatus Logico-Philosophicus. 7 main propositions, 75 pages, and when he finished it, he genuinely believed he had solved every philosophical problem that could be solved. So he did something no philosopher had ever done. He walked away, gave his entire fortune to his siblings, became a schoolteacher in rural Austria, lived in poverty, demanded perfection from children who could barely read. Why would someone do this? Because if philosophy was finished, staying would be a lie. And Wittgenstein couldn't live a lie. But here's the twist that changes everything. He was wrong, catastrophically, beautifully wrong, and realizing that would destroy him and give birth to a completely new way of seeing reality. So what did he see that made him abandon everything twice? The Tractatus wasn't a book. It was an execution. Wittgenstein wanted to kill philosophy by showing that most of it was meaningless noise. Imagine believing you could draw a perfect line between sense and nonsense, between what can be said and what must remain silent. That's what he attempted. And for a moment, it seemed like he'd succeeded. Here's the core idea. Language works like a photograph of reality. Words correspond to objects. Sentences correspond to facts. If your sentence can't picture something real, something that could actually exist in the world, then it's not just false, it's literally meaningless. It's noise pretending to be thought. Think about that for a second. Most of philosophy, meaningless. Theology, nonsense. Ethics, can't be spoken about. The meaning of life, silence. Whereof one cannot speak, thereof one must be silent. That's how the Tractatus ends. Not with answers, but with a boundary. A wall between what language can do and what it cannot. And the Vienna Circle, a group of brilliant philosophers and scientists. They fell in love with this. Finally, Someone had given them a weapon to eliminate all the fuzzy, poetic, religious garbage from serious thought. Only statements that could be verified or logically proven had meaning. Everything else? Trash. But here's what they missed. Here's what even Wittgenstein himself struggled with. The most important things in life, love, beauty, ethics, meaning, purpose, they were all on the wrong side of that boundary. They couldn't be photographed, couldn't be verified. According to his own system, they were nonsense. And Wittgenstein knew this. He wasn't stupid. He wrote in a letter, "The book's point is ethical. I once wanted to include in the preface a sentence which now actually isn't there, but which I'll write to you now because it might be a key for you. I wanted to write that my work consists of two parts, of the one which is here, and of everything I have not written. And precisely this second part is the important one." Do you see what he's saying? The silence is where truth lives, not in what can be said, but in what cannot. But if that's true, then what's the point of language at all? Why speak if everything that matters is unspeakable? This contradiction haunted him, ate at him, and eventually it broke him, because he realized something terrifying. Language isn't a photograph. It's not a mirror. It's something far stranger, far more fluid, far more dangerous. And that realization would change everything. Late 1920s, Wittgenstein returns to Cambridge, but he's not the same man. Something has shifted. He's haunted, restless, and he begins to do something almost unheard of in philosophy. He starts dismantling his own masterpiece, brick by brick, idea by idea, until nothing remains. What did he see? What changed? Here's the revolution. Meaning doesn't come from logical structure. It doesn't come from correspondence to reality. It comes from use, from context, from the game you're playing. He called them language games. And this concept, this single idea, it rewrites everything. Think about it. When a scientist says this is true, what does that mean? It means verified by experiment, peer-reviewed, repeatable, falsifiable. When a lover says this is true, what does that mean? It means I feel this deeply, this resonates with my experience. This is authentic to me. When a priest says this is true, what does that mean? It means revealed by scripture, confirmed by tradition, aligned with divine will. Same words, completely different games, completely different realities. And here's where it gets dangerous. We think we're having the same conversation. We're not. Imagine a courtroom. Someone says, that action was wrong. What does wrong mean here? It means illegal. It violated a statute. There's evidence. There are clear rules. Now imagine two friends talking. One says, that action was wrong. What does wrong mean now? It means morally questionable. It violated trust. It hurt someone. It goes against shared values. The word is identical, but the game has changed. And because the game has changed, the meaning has changed. This is why you can't win certain arguments. Not because you're not smart enough. Not because the other person is stupid. But because you're playing different language games with incompatible rules. You're speaking past each other. You're living in different realities constructed by different uses of the same words. And if you've found this valuable so far, if this is shifting how you see communication itself, do me a favor. Hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel, because we're about to go even deeper into how this controls your entire life. Wittgenstein realized something else, something that would anticipate thinkers like Foucault decades later. If meaning comes from use, and use is determined by communities, then whoever controls the discourse controls reality itself. Language isn't neutral. It's not a tool we pick up and put down. It's the water we swim in, the air we breathe, and most terrifyingly, we can't think outside of it. You cannot have a private language. This was one of his most controversial arguments. You can't create a language that only you understand, that refers only to your private sensations. Why? Because language requires rules, and rules require a community to establish and enforce them. Even your most intimate thoughts, your deepest feelings, your sense of self, they're shaped by the languages you inherited from your community. You are not the author of your own mind. Your thoughts are not fully yours. They're constructed by games you didn't choose, rules you didn't write, meanings you didn't create. So who did? So here we are. standing at the edge of something most people never see. If meaning isn't discovered but created, if it emerges from use, from context, from the games we play, then what does that say about truth, about reality, about everything you think you know? Wittgenstein didn't just change philosophy. He revealed the mechanism of control that's been operating your entire life. Every political debate that goes nowhere. Every family argument where you're using the same words but can't understand each other. Every time you felt gaslit, manipulated, confused by someone twisting your words. Now you know why. They're not lying. They're changing the game. And when the game changes, meaning changes. Reality changes. Think about modern discourse. Freedom. What does that word mean? To a libertarian, it means absence of government interference. To a socialist, it means freedom from economic coercion. To a religious conservative, it means freedom to live according to moral truth. Same word. Three completely different games. Three incompatible realities. And they're all convinced the others are insane. Because they are playing different games. Justice, rights, truth, violence. Every politically charged word operates this way. Propaganda doesn't work by lying. It works by shifting the language game so subtly you don't notice. And once the game has shifted, the old meanings become inaccessible. You can't even remember what the word used to mean. This is why Orwell's 1984 was so prophetic. War is peace, freedom is slavery. These aren't contradictions. They're game shifts. And Wittgenstein showed us how it works decades before Orwell wrote it. But here's the question that should terrify you. If you can't think outside language, and language is controlled by communities and power structures, then are you even free? Or are you just a player in games you didn't consent to, following rules you can't see, creating meanings that serve interests you don't understand? Wittgenstein spent his final years in isolation. Norway, Ireland, small rooms, no possessions. He never married, never accumulated wealth again, never sought fame. He died of cancer in 1951 in a modest room in Cambridge. His last words were, "Tell them I've had a wonderful life." A man who gave up everything twice, who destroyed and rebuilt philosophy, who showed us that the prison of language is inescapable, because we built it together and we maintain it every time we speak. But maybe that's not the tragedy we think it is. Because if meaning is created, not discovered, if reality is constructed through the games we play, then you have more power than you've been told. You can recognize the game. You can refuse to play. You can create new games with new rules. The next time you're in an argument that's going nowhere, ask yourself, are we speaking the same language or just playing different games? The next time someone tries to tell you what a word really means, ask, according to which game? The next time you feel confused, manipulated, lost in translation, remember Wittgenstein. Remember that language doesn't reveal reality. It creates it. And the question isn't whether you're trapped in language. You are. We all are. The question is, whose game are you playing? And are you playing it consciously, or are you being played? Because once you see the matrix of language, once you understand that every word is a move in a game with invisible rules, you can never unsee it. And that's both the curse and the gift Wittgenstein left us. The prison is real, but knowing it's a prison, that's the first step to freedom. So tell me, thinkers, what game are you playing right now? And who wrote the rules?